in Houston, Texas. Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's Game 2 of a 3-game weekend series. In interleague play, the Astros meeting the Tampa Bay Rays. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Rays were dazzling with James Shields going the distance for his third straight start last night. Now the Astros try to get after it with the bats tonight, JD.
And a favorable pitching matchup tonight for the Astros. For the Rays, Wade Davis goes. He struggled a little bit of late, but look what Bud Norris has been up to over his last 3 starts, a 0.86 ERA. The bad news is he's only picked up 1 win through that stretch. The Astros have lost his last 2 ball games by a score of 1-0.
Coming up from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Bud Norris goes to the mound. He's had a difficult time with that lack of run support. Will he be more like Chuck Norris, who was big on Saturday nights with Walker, Texas Ranger? We'll find out as he goes against Tampa Bay in just a moment.
Car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. It's a special Saturday night. It's interleague baseball action as the Tampa Bay Rays, 7-3 in interleague play, take on the Astros at 3-4. That 4-game over is the margin of the 2 leagues. So Tampa Bay, I could say, they are responsible for the American League having a 4-game advantage right now in interleague play. Team is on the field. The pitcher will be taking his position, and it's time to send it up to the booth. This being Saturday, that means we've got a special extra voice joining Bill Brown and Jim DeShays, as Jeff Bagwell is with us as well. Let's go up to the booth right now, guys.
Thank you, Greg. Always a pleasure, of course, to have Jeff joining us. And on this Saturday night, as you look at Game 2 of the homestand unfold before you, Jeff, the Astros could use some offense tonight.
Yeah, we can. Let's start with some good pitching first.
Okay.
If Bud can get us off to a good start right here and get some runs behind him, hopefully we can cruise a little bit. We had a tough night last night. Big game James pitched a hell of a game against us last night. I was really impressed to watch him pitch. I've seen him a little bit, but I didn't get a chance to see him in person like I did last night. So hopefully we can get off to a good start tonight.
He was very effective with that changeup, especially as Bud
Yeah,
Norris. Bud warms up. Here's the Xfinity starting lineup that he will be facing for Joe Madden's Tampa Bay Rays. Johnny Damon in left, Ben Zobrist at second, Evan Longoria at third, Casey Kochman at first, Matt Joyce in right, B.J. Upton is the center fielder with John Jaso the catcher, Reed Brignac at short, Wade Davis is the pitcher.
You know, Brownie and Jimmy, I was thinking about, it used to be about 5-6 years ago was the cutter. Everybody had a cutter. Now it seems like the changeup is the pitch that guys are throwing a lot more nowadays, and really becoming a dominant pitch for both righties and lefties.
Yeah, that one that Shields featured last night was just very impressive.
Hunter Pence said he saw 4 in a row.
Yeah,
you better get used to it.
That was kind of his MO. Well, let's take a look at the Astros defensively. Nothing new going on in the outfield. We welcomed Hunter Pence back last night, but the real change is at shortstop as Brad Mills sacrifices defense to get another bat in the lineup. Clint Barmas gets the night off. Matt Downs, who's really been swinging it well off the bench, gets his first start of the year at shortstop. Last time out, Bud Norris at Dodger Stadium, very, very good, and that's kind of been a trend, not just last time out, but an ERA of 2 for the month of June, 0.86 over his last 3 starts. And the last 2 times he started, the Astros have lost 1-0. So Bud suffering a loss in one of those games, and no decision in the other, and hopefully no ill effects from that dive as he takes the mound tonight.
He went all out, and now it's Johnny Damon to lead it off. Damon did not play last night, taking that pitch as he opens this game for ball 1. 266, 8 homers. He's driven in 33. And one of the guys that you have followed, Jeff, played against for many years. What a good pro down through the years.
Johnny? Oh, God, yeah. Been a very, very solid player for a long, long time, as you see right here with all the hits he's had in interleague play. But through his career, he's just been such a solid player.
Damon chops one. Keppinger to his right, off balance. Throw to Wallace in time to get him.
Well, Jimmy, you can speak to this. I mean, when you lose 1-0 your last 2 starts, you can't start thinking about, you know, my guys aren't scoring runs. You just got to go out there and pitch.
Right. You know, it's one of those things you got to compartmentalize. You got to, okay, that happened to me, but you know, you got to put it over here and just go do your job. You can't take the mound with the mindset I've got to pitch a shutout to win.
Right.
Because if you do that, then you start to nibble because you're afraid of contact, and generally that you know, ends up being a bad deal.
Former Astro farmhand Ben Zobrist looks at ball 1. He's been a right fielder. He's been a second baseman. Last night in right field, he drove in a run, his 38th of the year, to lead the club. He has 9 homers.
How many times have we heard that, Brownie?
What's that?
Former farmhand of the Houston Astros.
We've heard it a few times.
Oh, my God.
Yes. You talked about the changeup. You just saw it from Bud.
It's got a good one.
Now 2-1.
Last night, Joe Madden had a bunch of right-handed hitters in his lineup. Now he loads up with lefties. Zobrist a switch hitter.
Joe's growing his hair out, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's not going to cut his hair all year, we've been told.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Very interesting guy.
Yes. I kind of like it, though.
He keeps everybody in the organization on their toes. There's a 1-out walk to Zobrist. And that could lead to some running. The Rays like to do running, and Dave Martinez, the bench coach, said he is really happy about working with Joe Madden. He said he lets me do the running game, and that's an interesting assignment.
Well, as soon as that base runner got on, Dave Martinez sidled up next to Madden down there in the dugout. Yeah. And what do you want to do, Skip?
Yeah, he said it's a constant conversation between those two during games, and Joe wants a lot of things bounced off him. Evan Longoria bounced one off something last night as he hit a homer. There's ball 1. 7th homer of the year, 26 runs batted in, a .232 average. He was out for a month with pulled muscle in his side and still searching for that good swing that he's had throughout most of his career. One of the top young players, though. Yeah, it was.
Oh, God, yeah. Heck of a player.
Well, yeah, defensively, he's still good.
Yes.
All that range, and we saw him again last night make a throw from way over in foul territory. He has the strong arm. He's kind of Brooks Robinson-like the way he does that, Baggy.
Whoa. Big praise right there, Brownie.
It is. Yeah, we probably need to see more of these guys, but from what we've seen, he is really solid. going through that tough stretch, but many of his teammates are too, as this club is only 9th in the American League in runs scored.
They pitch it and they defend very well.
Yes.
I saw a quote from Joe the other day. I read a quote or heard him talking somewhere, and he said, we catch line drives. And I said, well, everybody catches line drives. So I asked him about it. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, we pride ourselves on positioning so that we catch line drives that would otherwise be hits.
Okay.
And he just thinks that it provides a huge lift for his pitcher when you give up a rocket and somebody's standing outside the norm of where you might normally play. But, when I first heard him say that, we catch line drives, I did the same thing you guys just did.
Yeah,
So, who doesn't? Yeah.
I'm actually, I'm kind of weirded about that statement. Looks like we should have struck this guy out already. We got 4 pitches in the strike zone. We catch line drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim Wolf, by the way, is the home plate umpire tonight. And we were hearing that he was on a different crew. That crew umpiring the Milwaukee game, and Randy Wolf is pitching in that series, Jim's brother, so he got moved to this crew for the weekend.
Life will get better for Jim when Randy retires. He won't be having to get shifted out of those Brewer games or wherever Randy's pitching, who, by the way, is having a real nice year.
Yes, he is.
The Wolf man.
When doesn't he?
Yeah, he's solid, isn't he?
Yes, sure is. I throw him out there every 5 days. How many ground balls is Matt Downs going to get tonight? They're playing short.
You know he's ready for that first one. Well, there's strike 6. Excuse me, strike 5.
Yeah.
Bud Norris might be thinking that right now as he takes a little walk.
And I don't say this with any evidence or anything, but it seems to me that Jim in the past has been fairly tight behind the plate, more of a hitter's umpire.
Rip past the diving Chris Johnson, left field corner. Zobrist comes to third. Tom Foley's going to send him to the plate to make it 1-0 Rays. On a double by Longoria, number 11 of the year for him. '27th RBI for Longoria.
He saw a lot of pitches and put a good swing on that one. Zobrist, who had walked, comes all the way around, and the Rays draw first blood.
Just under the glove.
Yeah.
Now Casey Kochman comes up. Kochman takes ball 1. Carlos Corporon catching again tonight after the injury to J.R. Tolles. Kochman had a double last night in 4 trips. And J.R. with 11 stitches in his chin is available tonight, but Brad Mills does not want to use him to catch. .335 for Kochman with 3 homers. He's driven in 18.
Yeah, I saw him down in the clubhouse today, Brownie. I don't think he can put a mask on, to be honest with you.
No, sir. 1-1. He has such a good attitude, though.
He does. He's a good kid. I was talking to him to maybe go to that other mask, the one that Brad used to wear. You know, maybe that'll help him out a little bit. I'm not sure, but he's kind of inclined to maybe try it. Actually, what Corp has on right now.
Okay. Hockey goalie type mask. So now you see it.
Well, we've caught up to the Pirates then, haven't we? Had they used 6 catchers?
That's true.
I guess we got to wait till Brian gets in a game. And Jason didn't get in the game either, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Brian Esposito just arriving today after being called up after the game last night. Fernando Rodriguez heading for Oklahoma City. 2-2. Kochman, a rejuvenated hitter this year. He had some vision difficulties last year and had a procedure on his eye, so his sight is good and the numbers are terrific for Kochman. He also is a top-notch fielder at first base. But the Rays are looking for hot bats.
Well, there's one right there, hitting .335.
Yes, it is.
And 191 at bats.
Chases that one, and Bud Norris pops it by him upstairs for a strikeout.
And that's why Matt Downs is getting the start at shortstop today. Not because Bud Norris can strike out Casey Kochman, but because Bud Norris is a power guy who typically keeps the ball out of play, gets a lot of strikeouts, and most of his starts he'll get a number of fly ball outs and not many on the ground. So, you know, if you're Brad Mills and you're trying to figure out, well, how do I get some extra offense? Well, let's get Downs in there, and let's do it when we've got a guy who's more inclined to get the ball in the air or strike some people out.
Matt Joyce Did not play last night, but he has solid numbers. There's ball one.
And that is not to imply that Matt Downs can't make plays at shortstop, but he has very little experience out there.
Right.
And he's not the player defensively that Clint Barmas is. So that's the trade-off.
Well, this is something right here that Bud has to fight. We just talked about that earlier. Is okay, I gave up a run in the first inning. I've lost 2 starts, given up 1 run. What do I have to do? Do I have to strike out everybody? Do I have to not give up any more runs? You just can't think like that. He's got to be a bulldog and think, you know what, that's all I'm giving up, and I'll let whatever else happens.
You've got to be able to just really focus. And that's the same. It's the same as when you're going good. Because there's times if things are really going well for you, you can run into the trap of going out there and just thinking, well, this is going to be easy, or you just kind of feel like you're locked in and you get out ahead of yourself. You really have to just one pitch at a time, one hitter at a time.
Intentional walk now. Count 3-0, and Joyce takes a stroll. And it'll be Upton batting.
Well, and that's something right there. I mean, we get the 3-0 walk in the first inning. I mean, that's when you know you haven't been scoring many runs. Especially with a guy, as we talked about, with a power pitcher like Bud that could strike out guys and get outs.
Upton with 9 homers, 35 driven in, has a .220 batting average. Upton had a homer last night and 3 trips, also a walk and a stolen base.
And he's a strikeout candidate. He swings and misses a lot, so he's dangerous. He's got power. But he's the kind of hitter as a pitcher you feel like I should be able to get this guy. If I don't make mistakes, I'm good here. I should be able to handle this guy. You make a mistake, he'll make you pay.
Well, and I think when you have a young pitcher on the mound, you kind of try and take it out of his hands too. I remember when Rocket was here. Rocket would, he'd throw it 4 inches on the outside part of the plate and say if he swings at it, he swings at it. And I'm talking about the 3-0 pitch. But with Bud, you're just going to try and take it out of his hands right now and not try and make a mistake in that situation and go after a fresh hitter right here.
Popped up. Chris Johnson over. Still going. And it hit the roof.
Wow, it finally just came down. Lucky that didn't land on somebody's head.
Yeah. It hits the roof above foul territory. It's a foul ball, not in play. And it's 1-2.
Does it ever hit the roof in fair territory here?
Haven't seen
I'm
it.
trying to remember. Yeah.
Nope.
I think I tried one time. It didn't work, though.
You probably came close. Sometimes on those pop-ups, you try to blow it up there a couple feet higher.
Pretty hard to do.
Well, the Rays are used to that with those rings they have in their ballpark. They have all kinds of weird ground rules, and that's a strikeout. Number 2 for Norris. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 men left. The Astros have given up 52 first-inning runs. They fall behind 1-0. Xfinity starting lineup for Brad Mills' club. It's Michael Bourne in center, Jeff Keppinger at second, Hunter Pence in right, Carlos Lee in left, Matt Downs at shortstop, Brett Wallace at first, Chris Johnson at third, Carlos Corporon the catcher for Bud Norris.
Right-hander Wade Davis pitches for the Rays this evening. He is 6-5 with a 4.57 ERA. Note this: 40 strikeouts in 84 2/3 innings with 33 walks. He's allowed 13 home runs and a whole bunch of those recently. So even though he's got a winning record, he can be had. He's had his struggles in the last few weeks. A pitch up in the zone with a fastball. And defensively, the Rays are very good, maybe the best in all of baseball. Damon gets a start in left. Upton and Joyce cover center and right. Longoria, Brignac, Zobrist, and Kochman very, very good infield. And John Jaso's doing the catching tonight.
Michael Bourne with a 1-1 count has 25 runs batted in. Smacks this one up the right field line. That'll kick and go up in the air a little bit. That gives him plenty of time to get to second base. Kind of weird carom for Joyce in right.
It was. That was a nice play, though.
Good play.
Yeah, it was.
That could be tricky. Bourne now has 20 doubles this year.
Pretty swing.
Watch the play, though. That's a pretty good play right there.
Sure is.
If he doesn't make that play, that's a triple for sure.
So Bourne gets it going, and now it's Keppinger following. 311 for Jeff. 1 homer, 11 runs batted in. He was 0 for 4 last night. The Rays snapped his 10-game hitting streak. Corner infielders move in, even with the bases. Strike one.
Davis mentioned the home run problems. He's allowed 12 home runs in his last 51 innings of work.
I can see, Jimmy, that fastball doesn't have much movement to it. It's pretty straight, yeah. I've never been down to that ballpark, but it seems like it's a pretty good hitter's ballpark.
And he's working on 7 days rest. He's the one guy in the rotation who's been moved back quite a bit.
Breakdown of his pitches and how often he uses them. Uses both the curveball and the slider. Not many changeups.
A lot of fastballs.
That's the curve for a strike, and it's 1-2. Davis, 25 years old, from Lake Wales, Florida. He was a third-round pick in 04.
I don't think Kep was looking for that one.
No.
I wasn't either. Came out of nowhere right there. We're looking at that breakdown on those fastballs.
He's not pitched since the 17th of June. There's the spray chart. Fouled away. Still 1-2. Keppinger's a hard man to finish off. He's only struck out 6 times in 100 at-bats this year.
He just doesn't get nervous in there. I mean, it's no big deal to him. 2 strikes is nothing for Kep.
What's a good trait to have for a hitter, isn't it?
Oh, God.
Too many guys are there.
I was in straight panic zone every single time I was with 2 strikes. And generally probably struck out.
Davis has a rundown going on Bourne. Runs right at him. Michael dodges, and then he's tagged out. Now throwing Keppinger's into it. And the throw back to Kochman. He runs him towards second, and he is tagged out by Brignac. That is a rough piece of base running there.
I'll let you take this one, Baggy.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Honestly, Michael's probably got to do a little bit better job of getting in more of a rundown like that to get Kep into second base. He kind of just stood there. I'm very surprised he got tagged out by the pitcher. That doesn't happen with Michael.
That's kind of funny that the pitcher was able to take Michael all by himself and it took 3 or 4 throws to get Jeff.
Right. Michael probably should have gone to third base, more towards third base to keep himself in the rundown, because nobody's really going to run down Michael.
Yeah, he must have just thought the pitcher was going to give the ball up.
Pitcher did exactly what he's supposed to do. You run straight at the base runner.
Yeah.
I just never thought he would tag him.
51 runs batted in for Hunter Pence. That rundown went 1-3-6-3-4. Pence with 9 homers. Hunter was 0 for 4 last night. Fouls it back.
Of course, if I'm Michael, I'm probably thinking the pitcher's not going to tag me either. But
and that's a tough read when you're the base runner on that ground ball.
For sure it is,
because
yes.
you know in front of you, you stay put, behind you, you go. But when it's kind of off, you're not sure the pitcher can make a play on that ball, and you're looking to get to third base on the ground out.
No, there's no doubt. You are looking to get there, and you can't take for granted that the pitcher's going to catch that ball. And if he doesn't catch the ball and you don't go, then it looks even worse.
Davis is facing the Astros for the first time in his career. Runs it in, and it's 2-2. It's Rays rotation, a good one with a 3.57 ERA and third in the majors in innings pitched. That's lined over shortstop out in left field, and a sliding play by Damon for out number 3. So it's no runs, a hit, nobody left, and it's 1-0 Rays after 1.
The Lone Star Series rivalry will continue this week here at Minute Maid Park. The Rangers come to Houston for a 3-game series Tuesday through Thursday. On Tuesday, June 28th, the first 10,000 fans will receive a Lone Star Series T-shirt courtesy of Coca-Cola. Visit Astros.com for tickets. Rangers are getting blasted by the Mets tonight, 14-5. Wow.
C.J. Wilson, Colby Lewis, Matt Harrison pitching in that 3-game series for Texas coming up on Tuesday night. John Jaso takes strike 1. 224, 3 homers, 16 runs batted in for Jaso. It's an 0-2 count as the start goes to Jaso tonight. After last night, it was Kelly Shopick, the right-handed hitting catcher, against the Astros lefty Wandy Rodriguez. And that's strike 3. Third strikeout.
Didn't waste any time there, did he?
No.
Yeah. And just stayed with that heater. Jason, a lot of movement in the box. Just didn't look like he was ready.
I think that was almost like a 2-0 pitch.
3 strikeouts for Bud. Now it's Reed Brignac, native of Bishop, St. Amant, Louisiana. 177 with 1 homer for Brignac. He has struggled at the plate with an uppercut swing this year. And there's ball 1.
What's wrong with an uppercut, Brian?
Nothing if you make contact.
You're right.
1-1. But isn't it more of a challenge to keep that bat through the zone?
No, you're exactly right. The really, really good hitters that do that.
Yeah.
They keep the bat through the zone. That's what Lance did so great and still is doing very great. The bat just stays through the zone for a long period of time. It gives you more of an opportunity for your bad swings to be, sounds weird, but good swings.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that one.
No, that's a good swing.
There's a little, the ball was down a little bit, so that plays to his strength.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what Lance does so well. It just his bat just Pujols and those kind of guys. The ball just stays through the zone.
Bunted, and Wallace will throw to Keppinger. Sacrifice for Davis. His first time at the plate this year in interleague, and he gets the runner over. And the Rays they seem to have more of a National League type approach, Baggy. They don't have a lot of power.
Well, yeah. Well, they signed Manny in the offseason, and obviously Manny is not with them. They've traded away in the last couple of years a lot. They don't have the payroll that a lot of the other American League East teams do. So they have to manufacture runs. And Joe Madden has done a tremendous job with this kind of team. Manny was supposed to be their big power source. Obviously, that didn't work out.
That's a good point. Johnny Damon and Manny were at the news conference when
Right.
they both signed.
Right.
Everything was looking up. In hits, 2,646 for Johnny Damon.
What's that guy, Derek Jeter?
He's what, 7 shy of 3,000 now?
Still hurt, right?
6? Okay. Yeah, he's hurt now.
Damon once had 3 hits in an inning.
3 hits in an inning?
Yep.
Is that true?
Yeah. Read that somewhere the other day.
He's tied with Jimmy Fox right now on the all-time hit list for 72nd. He's only 8 away from Ted Williams. Rolled up the line off his foot. Well, you talk about
Triple
uppercut
X.
swing. Yeah, Ted Williams had an uppercut swing. He did pretty well with it, didn't he?
Yeah, he was all right.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He preached it.
He sure did.
Yeah, he loved the uppercut swing.
Hey, check out those shoes. Styling.
Check out that leg kick.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll hurt. That'll calm the leg kick down right there.
Did you ever spend much time around Ted Williams, Baggy?
No. I saw him, probably one of the highlights of my life. I was 21 years old or 22 years old. I was in camp with the Red Sox, and I had him and Carl Yastrzemski standing behind me while I was hitting. That was pretty impressive for me. I almost couldn't breathe. My dad was there. He passed out.
Damon now 37.
Did you have your patented stance working yet, or were you more
No,
conventional?
I have no idea what I was doing.
That would have been fun to hear their comments if you were in baggy mode.
Yeah. No, but I still had an uppercut, and Ted liked it. I talked to Ted a bunch about hitting, and what a passion for hitting he had.
Yeah. Did he ever ask you if you could smell the wood when you fouled the ball off?
That is such the biggest thing in the entire world. Anybody that's ever played the game can smell the wood when you foul the ball off.
Line shot to right, in front of Hunter Pence. Now he throws to the plate. Corcoran with the tag. Safe is the call at home. Brignac got in. And it's 2-0 Rays with Damon at second base. Brad Mills out to talk it over with Jim Wolf.
We'll take a look at the replay. It looked to me like Carlos was a little deep as he received that ball, and that's what opened up home plate for Brignac. So 2 nights in a row with the play at the plate. And he just looked like he got in under the tag. Yeah, we can't see home plate with that shot, but given where it is before he goes down, it looked to me like he got in there. Yeah, close.
Safe. Front foot gets in there.
Yeah.
Jim Wolf with the safe call. Brignac scores run number 2. And now he's going to be examined. It's like the right shin area.
Carlos has done a real good job of blocking the play, too.
He's not afraid to give up the body. He'll take a hit.
No, he's not.
He was in a vulnerable position last night. Sean Rodriguez was the base runner, kind of came in the back door and got the play, but he was there willing to take a hit.
Nice throw from Hunter Pence on this.
And this is tough for the catcher when it's coming from right field, because you're looking at the ball and you're just trying to feel the base runner. You can't really see him. You can't afford to take your eye off the ball and look for the runner.
It's funny how things have happened ever since those big collisions that we had. You don't see collisions anymore. really have not seen it. There's been a couple cases I've watched even on TV where catchers are right there and
guys are sliding around.
they're sliding around it. Yeah.
Strike makes it 1-1 after all that furor, of course, we're talking about.
Yeah.
On the injury to the Buster Posey, catcher of the Giants, that play at the plate. We've had a lot of discussion about that down through the last couple of months.
I'm sure you have, but I mean, the game is the game.
Gappinger plays it over to Wallace. And it's 1 run on 2 hits with a man left. And it's 2-0 Rays. Closely, the left fielder. Fans hoping the Astros could get their offense in gear against Wade Davis, who gave up a leadoff double to Michael Bourne, but then got Bourne in a rundown. That turned into a double play on a ball hit by Gappinger. Lee hits one foul for strike 1. And Hunter Pence lined out to left. And a good Johnny Damon play in the first inning. We were hearing that the last time Davis pitched, there were some line drive outs. And he won that game, giving up just 1 run in 6 innings. 5-1 was the score. Davis said he faced the Astros this March in spring training, learned quite a bit about their swings that he would remember for tonight. There's a good swing, and it's on through into center for a single.
He said he remembers what happened in March?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive, right?
I thought so, too.
Sometimes when you get asked a question, you got to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Whether you believe it or not.
This is interesting tonight. Now, Matt Downs getting the call at shortstop. Clint Barmas getting a rest. Downs getting his first start at short this season. He had only played 2 games at shortstop in his major league career prior to tonight. But he had 1 inning. He played the bottom of the 9th after hitting that pinch homer Wednesday night in Texas at short, but didn't get a chance in that one. And there's strike 1 to Matt.
He's going to be swinging at that fastball. I promise you that. Matty doesn't get cheated on any fastball. I promise you that.
Well, and again, we talked about Brad Mills thinking by starting Downs because of Bud Norris on the mound. Well, here's a guy that throws a lot of fastballs,
right?
4-seamers that are. I mean, it's kind of a good fit to get Downs in here to see if he can jump on one. Sink piece there.
Might have a little bit of movement.
Yeah.
4 balls, 2 strikes. He hit the pinch 2-run homer off Feliz in Texas to win that game Wednesday night. Downs has now started at all 4 outfield positions this year for the Astros. Wallace on deck. He's averaging a homer every 15.6 at bats. Smacks this one on the line to center. And it's caught by Upton. One out for Davis.
Davis a little weird because normally when you look at the numbers, you see a guy who's pitched 85 plus innings now, and he's only got 40 strikeouts. So you're thinking, well, he's just a soft toss and ground ball guy, but he's neither. He's a fly ball pitcher, extreme fly ball pitcher who's got a good arm. He's throwing 93 miles an hour. Right. So he must be just doesn't have the he hasn't shown much with the breaking ball, so he just doesn't have the put away breaking pitch or something to go with that fairly straight four-seamer.
Red Wallace at 293. Take strike one.
Pretty good hook right there, though.
Yeah,
he threw it to Kepi, too.
Wallace has been seeing a lot of those lately.
So he's got a two-seam grip right there, so I don't know if he's throwing a fastball here.
Ground ball to short. Vignac with the toss. And then Zobrist turns it into a 6-4-3 double play. 2 double plays in 2 innings for the Rays. They lead at 2-0.
It is time for the AT&T Trivia Challenge. And our question today involves the visiting team here tonight. 3 minor league players of the year, according to USA Today, were in the Tampa Bay system. I just want to know who they are. 3 of them.
3 current Rays.
3. I'll say this: they're all 3 in the big leagues.
Okay.
3 Rays minor leaguers.
Or minor league player of the year. How about Upton?
Upton, I would guess, would be 1.
And that is not 1.
He was like, wasn't he like the high school player of the year or something like that?
Yeah, he may have been in high school.
Those kids, both of them are still
good.
good.
USA Today minor league player of the year, 3 of them.
How about Longoria?
That is not correct.
How about Josh Hamilton?
That is 1.
David Price.
That is 2.
Wow. What's up to Baggy?
Yep.
What's the question again?
Well, I'll give you a clue. The third one is on the Rays now,
okay.
just like Price.
And the guys who were USA Today's minor league player of the year.
Johnny Damon?
Nope. No, they had to be in. They were in the Rays system.
Oh, the Rays organization
when they won the honor.
Upton?
Nope.
Yeah, I tried him.
Wow, you tried him already?
Yeah.
Let me see. How am I going to do this? Well, I'll say think pitchers.
Hellickson?
Yes. I couldn't hear what you said at first. Yes. The third one was Jeremy Hellickson. So Hellickson and Price on the team now. And, of course, Hamilton back in 2000 when he was in the system.
Stumped us again.
They got a lot of good ones, and there you have the AT&T Trivia answer. These 3 were all USA Today minor league players of the year, and they were in the Rays system when they won the honor. 2 of them on the team now. They've got a loaded farm system. They have some more in the future.
Exactly. I mean, when they had as many losing seasons as they did, they're going to get number 1 picks all the time.
Leadoff walk to Longoria. Kochman's the batter.
Yeah, Joe Madden before the game was saying that they're pretty well stocked for the future, too. They've got some good, talented arms and position players down on the farm. And then this year in the draft, they had 11 of the first 70 or 80 picks or something crazy like that because of the free agents they lost.
12 of the first 89.
Yeah, wow.
And Jim Hickey said they have 2 starters right now, Baggy, at AA, who would be probably in the rotation for about 10 major league clubs right now.
Well, I can believe it. I mean, I really can. They've done a great job of scouting. They really have. But like I said, when you have a history of losing, I mean, they started winning, what, 5-6 years ago, maybe even less than that.
Smacked into right field. Kochman with a single. You're right. They had piled up those number ones.
Yeah. And if you have good scouting, you're going to have a chance to get some good players.
Their payroll is slightly over $40 million. Their problem has been retaining good players. Well, it's tough to do it that way because when you bring them to the big leagues, you have them for 6 years before they can become a free agent. But quite often it takes more than that to get into the prime of your career.
It does. And they lost Pena last year, and they lost Crawford, obviously, because they weren't going to pay a kid $140 million for whatever he makes, 7 years or whatever it was. They couldn't do that with the not only just the payroll. I mean, you just think about their attendance. They just don't have that much attendance to pay for that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's tough, and that kid's a heck of a player.
Matt Joyce is the batter. He drew the intentional walk earlier. There was a story today. They're talking about the beginning stages of a new stadium. Of course, they've been trying to get that for years.
Better move out of Tampa.
And that's the talk. The Tampa Chamber of Commerce is getting together with the St. Petersburg Chamber of Commerce to see if they can come up with something between the two cities. Because, some people think that the team should be moved to Tampa now.
Well, I mean, it's a snowbird. I mean, people go down there, from the East Coast, and they come down there for the summers or even the winters, and it's tough to get a fan base like that.
Morris missing, and it's 2-1. They're averaging 18,485 for their home games.
That's actually more than I thought.
And you've seen it down the stretch in September when they're in the hunt for a playoff spot and those small crowds. So they've had the teams the last 5 years, but have not had that kind of support that is there in other markets. They were a playoff team last year. Sunny night. A little early for him, isn't
Jim Wolf. It's a little bit of a tight zone.
3-2. The Astros put him on last time.
And this guy's come up huge too. He's having a nice year. 10 bombs. Hitting better than 300.
This one goes to Michael Bourne out in center field. Oh, two guys on second base almost. The lead runner Longoria tags, and the trailing runner Kochman goes back to first. One out. That was interesting. No second base coach to help him out.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that classic base running right there.
Well, Longoria was moved over, and now it's Upton batting.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
He's not going to get doubled off. He's giving himself a chance to score if the ball drops in, if it shoots the gap. I mean, clearly it was going to be caught. But
no, I agree with Kochman what he was doing, but it looks like he was almost trying to make a turn.
Yeah, got a little
Longoria
giddy,
was standing right in front of him.
Now Upton is hitting 400 on the first pitch.
Well, that's why we need to throw him a little slider right here. He didn't see Bud real well his first at bat. I know that.
You're right. Didn't he get a first pitch slider first time up?
He took a bad swing at it.
Bunts, and that one goes foul. This is one thing the Rays like to do. They'll sacrifice a guy, probably not with one out, but
this is like a little safety squeeze.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Longoria wasn't coming with the pitch,
right,
but he was reading it.
But they've been known to do this. Runners at first and third.
Longoria looks like he's tired.
Asking for a 20-second timeout down there.
Give me a break here.
Bud Norris faced the Rays, didn't get a decision last year. Rip past the drawn in. Chris Johnson into left for an RBI single to make it 3-0. Upton turned on that one. Got his 36th run batted in.
Sometimes as pitchers we fall victim to the thinking of, well, this guy, he's got some holes in his swing, and if I spin it, he's not going to put a good swing on it, and then you end up making a kind of a lazy pitch with your breaking ball. You kind of float one into the strike zone, thinking that any old breaking ball will do, and generally that's not the case.
Especially when on third too.
John Jaso's the batter with runners at first and second. Strike one to him. He was caught looking in the second inning.
Surprised CJ was that close too. I mean, after he tried the first time, you don't think after that he's going to try it again.
This guy got a semi-baggy stance working, doesn't he?
Jason?
Yeah.
Wallace throwing to second. He got it in there, and the throw back to first is wide. Safe at first on the throw to Norris. And Matt Downs was trying to get it over there quickly, and it's out number 2 from 3 to 6.
He must have threaded the needle of that throw. He didn't want a whole lot of room to get that one in.
No, there was not.
Slide helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is tight, though. That throw's got to be right there in that spot.
Bud's got to collect himself right here. You can see, Jimmy, he's
talking
to himself right now. Keep it to a 3-run game. Just get an out right here, and let's move on. Unless he hurt himself a little bit, I'm not sure.
We had a question for you about playing first base and making that throw over to second. Yeah, he stretched for that, so maybe.
He went out for it too quickly. But he's not a first baseman. You know, he's a pitcher.
Doug Brocail and Nate Lucero are out to ask about Bud, who had to stretch back to get that throw.
Yeah, that's kind of like that little, what do you call that, oblique muscle or something like that, when you stretch out like that and have to go back to the left-hand side.
JD, remember that question we had for you about playing first base and making the double play from the other night, Baggy?
Yeah, the 3-6-1, 3-6-3 double play. I can't remember who the Ranger was, but anyway, we were talking. Maybe I guess it was Wally, the right-handed thrower, having to turn all the way around on a ground ball down the first baseline or to the first baseman. And I seem to recall you playing that ball on the backhand side quite a bit to kind of get a better angle.
Well, yeah, it's all about the angle, being right-handed. Left-handed, it's so much easier of a play, but being right-handed, you have to have an angle. I think Wally did a great job right there. He made a nice throw, but the most important thing, and we talked about this in spring training with our young first basemen in the minor leagues, is in that situation, it's very, very difficult to make a double play right-handed. So the most important thing is you got to make sure you get one out, and the out is going to be to second base. If you can make a strong throw, make an out, everything else is, gravy. And, it was kind of close right there, but it's a tough play for a right-handed first baseman, and it's a lot easier to do backhanded because it cuts down your angle, as we talked about. If you field it to the left-hand side, it's just a tough play because, as you just talked about before, while you were talking about the play, there's not much of an angle, and you got to basically make a perfect throw. Otherwise, you're going to hit the guy in the back, and then if you hit the guy in the back, then we got a lot of problems.
That's Brignac batting. Runners at first and third, 2 outs.
Once in a great while, you'll see a base runner stay up at second base on a play like that, too, knowing that,
Well, if I'm running the bases in that kind of play, I'm staying way to the right-hand side to try and get hit in the back. I mean, we're trying to take every advantage you can. And it's the same thing if a guy's holding you on, you're going to stay into the grass side of it, to try and get hit. You want to get hit. If you can do those kind of things, and you get a chance to keep some base runners on and, take advantage and maybe get some more runs. So you do both on both sides of the field. So you watch Wally get to the outside. He gets there. So he's got to make a perfect throw right there, and he did make a perfect throw. And it was close. It was just a little bit offline. I don't think we would have got him anyway, but it was a good throw by Wally.
2-2.
It's a fine line, guys. I promise you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
You could see it on that replay.
It really is. Because if he doesn't slide right there, he's got a chance of getting hit by that ball.
Absolutely.
But as a base runner, it's hard to know that. You're still trying to get in there. You're still trying to take the shortstop out, make sure he can't turn the double play. So it's a fine line. Remember Reggie Jackson did that in the World Series, didn't he?
Yeah, Sure. If you get trapped and you can't come inside to get that angle for the throw,
just get the out of first base.
Okay.
Just getting out of first base. You got to make sure you get one out.
Okay.
It's interesting because we talked about bringing out in that uppercut swing, and we saw him hit that fastball last time up, and he swung through a high fastball. So it seems like that'd be a pretty good idea
right now. Yes.
Yeah.
When the Rays score first in a game, their record is 31-8 this year.
Thanks for that stat, Brownie.
Corcoran's calling for that high heater.
There you go.
It worked.
Good call, JD.
Strikeout number 4. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 men left. Tampa Bay putting up a fence post so far, and the picket fence reads 3-0.
AT&T. Rethink possible. By your local Texas Ford dealers. And by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. Now back up to the booth. Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, and Jeff Bagwell.
Thank you, Greg. It is 3-0 Tampa Bay with a run in each of the first 3 innings. Now the Astros, who have had leadoff hits in each of the first 2, but then double play balls have followed. Want to try to put something together here against Wade Davis. Johnson, Corcoran, and Norris due to bat for Houston in the 3rd inning. Chris Johnson, a .244 hitter with 6 homers, has 32 runs batted in. CJ had an RBI double last night in 2 trips. Also was hit by a pitch. And next weekend, his father and the Boston Red Sox will be in town. Ball 1.
It's got to be exciting.
Oh, yeah. That's line to first. Well, line drive out.
They catch line drives.
That's what they do, Jimmy.
I
mean,
Cochman
you call the high
off the
fastball, now they catch line drives.
Sounds like a T-shirt saying.
Well,
we catch line drives.
It's funny that you say that because that's what Joe said. I'm thinking about having some T-shirts made up that say we catch line drives.
It's beautiful.
It might be the craziest thing I've ever heard, but still, apparently they do.
Carlos Corcoran hitting 114. Takes, and it's a strike call.
Catch line drives. No.
Bud Norris on deck.
Let's get a fan to catch a line drive right over that H&B sign.
No balls, 2 strikes. Davis has moved back in this rotation several times. He's had more than 1 start on extra rest. Jim Hickey explained why. He said they were trying to line up, and they have lined up the top 2 starters in the rotation, which would be David Price and James Shields, to face the Red Sox and Yankees more. Chopper up the middle to Hopper, and the long throw is a good one by Zobrist. 2 outs.
That gets tough to do, though. I remember for years the Cardinals used to try and do that against us, trying to light up their 3 best pitchers to face us. But you know, you still got to beat everybody. It's just tough to do.
In this case, he's talking about working around the All-Star break. They have 4 games before the break and 7 games after the break, all involving Red Sox Yankees. So they have a chance now to have those 2 pitchers we mentioned work in 6 of those 11 games. It's easier around the break than it is as you're talking about.
Because you got your 4 days off or 3 days off, whatever it's going to be. And Hick, look at Hick. He's so smart. He knows everything. Love Jim Hickey.
He worked very well with these Houston pitching staffs.
Yes, he did. I mean, it was tough, Brownie, because, you know, when you have Clemens and Pettit and Oswald, it's tough to be a pitching coach.
Yeah, what do you tell those guys?
Here's the ball.
Make me look good.
But seriously, that even for a guy who was in the Houston organization for 16 years, you know, it's got to be a little intimidating, doesn't it, to work with those guys?
It was intimidating playing first base. I wasn't a pitching coach.
That's a strikeout, and that's 9 retired in the first 3 innings by Davis. He's given up a couple of hits, but he's faced the minimum 3-0 Tampa Bay. Inning here at Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston. Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, Jeff Bagwell, Greg Lucas with you tonight on a Saturday night home game, the second of 9 on this homestand. Monday's an off day. Texas Rangers will be here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. Next weekend, the Boston Red Sox. Jeff Bagwell's original team.
Yeah.
You looking forward to? Do you know anybody who's coming in on this club this weekend?
No, the only thing I'm looking forward, hopefully I can get a bobblehead like you guys got last time I was here next Saturday, and just me, because you guys embarrassed me. Brownie had 25 years, but we did get some good cake that night.
Oh, we got some great cake.
We'll have to start making Saturday night cake night.
Why not?
It's a good plan. Wade Davis leads it off and takes strike 1. He put down a sac bunt earlier.
Well, the Astros have sent 9 men to the plate in this game. The Rays 17.
It's not a good ratio.
No. Can probably feel a little bit fortunate that he's down just 3.
Well, and it's a very manageable game right now. 3 runs, especially in this ballpark.
Against a guy who gives up a lot of
homers.
Gives up a lot
of homers that throws a big 4-seam fastball. One of our guys can get into one. We're right in the ball game, so we just got to keep it where it is right now.
Davis strikes out. That's number 4 for Norris. Johnny Damon comes up. Damon's 1 for 2. He drove in a second inning run with a single.
Pretty good pitch right there, huh, JD?
Yeah, it's.
Wolfie's a little tight tonight.
He's making me throw it over.
That's
the
same pitch right
there. Yeah.
We got a fox mullet all on that?
We probably do.
I bet we do. Maybe just a little way.
Fouled away by Damon. Damon's been the leadoff man for the last 19 games now.
We talked earlier about when Greg asked that question about minor league player of the year. Damon, I believe, was the National High School Player of the Year in Orlando. He was a heck of an athlete. Good football player, too.
I was not.
You were a soccer guy, right?
I was a soccer guy.
Yeah. You were ahead of your time.
Guess so.
Wallace. 2 outs.
You could have paid me like Ronaldo. I would have never even been in this booth.
Does soccer help your footwork in other sports, you think?
I think it did. Back then, what was I back then in high school? I was a shortstop. Shortstop and a pitcher. Neither one I was very good at. But in the long run, it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well for you.
Yeah. Sitting here next to you guys.
Yeah, I would think the skills needed to play soccer would translate somewhat.
The agility, the agility, yeah. Back and forth,
And in the way kids are raised now, and they focus so much on one sport.
Yeah.
Sometimes they lose the advantages they would gain of playing other sports.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in that. I think kids should play as much as they can in different sports. And I got 14-year-old pitchers, playing 100 games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their arms aren't ready for that. They're not, not finished growing up. I remember when I saw Andrews back in 2006. He said, "I've seen more 13 and 14-year-olds now than I've ever seen in my life." That's not good.
That's a shame. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brandon Lyon will be seeing Dr. Andrews on Thursday for his surgery.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Shortstop Downs is angling for it. Johnson giving way, and Matt Downs is there. In the 4th, the Rays go down 1-2-3 for the first time. They lead it 3-0. Bay 3, Houston nothing. We go to the fourth inning for Houston, and it's Michael Bourne. He led off the home first with a double, just inside the first base bag. Kochman's in tight for him as he comes up again. Bunting and fouling.
You see Michael right there. He knew he had it right there. He was bouncing his way down the first base line.
Yeah, he disguised that bunt.
Yeah, he did a good job, except for not keeping it fair.
Yeah, I wonder if for a bunter, it's probably like, when a home run hitter hits one and on the sweet spot and they get that feel, they know they've got it. And I imagine with a guy like Bourne, when he feels it come off the bat, he knows he's deadened it just enough.
0-2.
A two-seamer there, I think.
One ball, 2 strikes for Wade Davis. Rays are only averaging 3.5 runs per start for him. Foul ball. The Astros have won one series against the club with a better than .500 record right now. They won a series from Milwaukee.
Keep on coming up with the good stats, Brownie.
Well, point being, if you could turn around this game and then win tomorrow, that'd be something to.
Yeah, exactly. Hang your hat on.
Yep. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a foul tip strikeout.
Slider.
We go to Greg Lucas.
A lot of good things coming up. Don't miss your chance to catch the Red Sox at Minute Maid Park next weekend in Interleague Series July 1st through the 3rd. Now on Sunday, July 3rd, the first 10,000 fans of the 1:05 p.m. game will receive a Brett Myers bobblehead courtesy of Dayhill. You can buy tickets at Astros.com. Baggy was talking about wanting to have one of his on. Well, I'll tell you what, Brett's got the beard. Maybe you could fake people out.
There's a shot. Short hop play by Brignac on Keppinger. 2 outs. The Louisiana native with the soft hands on that one.
Can't hit it much harder than that.
Line drive defense, 1 hop defense.
Yep.
Might look like something you do in like BP or something like that. Like no big deal.
Right.
Can of corn.
Look pretty casual.
This can be morale builders for a pitcher. Hard outs.
They catch line drives.
Yeah, you start to feel good about things. You give up a rocket and it's an out.
Line drives and 1 hoppers apparently.
Hunter Pence line to Johnny Damon and left.
Need to start hitting some flares.
Our leaders of the game brought to you by United. Proud to fly the Houston Astros. Hunter has 93 hits. That's 5th in the majors. Two balls, no strikes. The Rays are tied for the league lead in fielding percentage. Pretty sure-handed bunch. 2 balls and a strike. That was the first 2-0 count Davis has had. Now 3-1 as the breaking ball stays high.
2 outs, 3-1, a 3-0 lead.
You got to come out of your shoes right here.
Yeah, I'd be able to sit on one here. That's ball away.
And he takes it for a walk. First walk of the night for Davis. Carlos leaves, single to center. Comes up. Jason Bourgeois banged up right now. The quad strain from the other night in Texas. Brad Mills said he's a little concerned about Jason. Jason's not at full strength at the moment, but hopefully he can nurse it.
Well, that's never good because that's that's part of his game is obviously running. He runs so well. Have a quad strain is that's tough.
He was playing under wraps Wednesday night. Wasn't running all the way out, and again last night.
Here comes. We're going to change the stat right here.
Jaso came up with it. 2-0.
Well, he fell behind Pence 2-0, then 3-1 before walking him, and now unable to find the zone. So another hitter's count, and now with a man on base.
We need the old hanging fastball right here.
It could really change things.
Sure can.
Downs on deck. Out into right center field. That'll go all the way to the warning track. Picked up by Joyce. Pence will score to make it 3-1 on an RBI double by Lee. 38th run batted in by Lee.
Well, let's take a look at this at bat as Davis goes after Carlos Lee and ultimately puts himself in a bit of a bind by working his way into a hitter's count. Boy, this game is so much about counts. Well, who's got the advantage, and then can you take advantage of that advantage?
2-out walk does turn into a run. Now Downs. He hit the ball to center field first time up. This one chop a shortstop. Brignac. And in the fourth inning, it's 1 run, 1 hit, 1 left for the Astros. 3-1 Rays through 4.
The jump on most of the hitters tonight, but he fell behind Pence and then behind Carlos. Slider down, fastball down, and then had to give in with that 2-0 fastball. And it was out away from Carlos, and he did a real nice job riding it into the alley in right center. And so the 2-out walk pays off for the Astros. Nice job by Hunter to work the walk, and then Carlos to deliver the run.
Now 3-1, and Bud Norris throws. Strike 1 to Evan Longoria. Longoria with an RBI double and a walk tonight. He's going without batting gloves now because he says, first of all, he wanted to try something different. Secondly, he said, well, it kind of hurts when you're swinging a bad pitch without batting gloves, so maybe he'll get a little more disciplined this way.
Didn't work on that swing right
no,
there.
No, it didn't. 1-2.
I would throw the bat in the stands every single time if I didn't have batting gloves.
Yeah, you could see that. A lot of guys probably would.
It's like trying to swing a golf club without a glove. Can't do it. No.
So he's looking for negative feedback. Hey, Brownie, if he hits it off the end of the bat, he wants to feel that rattle.
Yeah, in some way, he feels that that will make him more disciplined to really put a good swing on only the pitches he should be swinging at.
Baseball players are some weird dudes.
Yeah. He takes an offer, he goes home and lays down on a bed of nails.
Yeah.
You talk yourself into a lot of things.
Oh my God.
Such a mental sport, though.
I played in the minor leagues with a guy. His name escapes me now, but he was such a nut job, and he had a strained quad, but he was playing with it, but he couldn't run well. And if he grounded out and got thrown out by a step or so, and a ball he would normally beat, he would go into the dugout and it just beat on his injured leg. He just punched himself in the leg repeatedly.
That helps. Backhanded Downs. Tough play here with a footing. He fires it.
Nice job, Downsy.
Good strong arm.
Go ahead, Matt. Find Barmes in the dugout and stare him down.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
I got this. I played with some guy. You know, he was crazy too. He used to take his gum and put it on top of his hat when he come in the.
Really?
Yeah, he come in the dugout and have to make sure it was in the right spot.
Guy with the initials JD, for instance.
Yeah, CB.
No, I think more like CB.
CB. Okay.
And
we had to get to him, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, you've been giving him a 4-inning breather here tonight.
I know. I'm trying to find anything right now to get on him.
Kochman looks at ball and a strike one.
So the gum would go on the hat, and then he'd reload.
Yeah. And then if he was doing well, like I'd be on the on-deck circle, and he would have to run on the side over there. He wouldn't come shake my hand because he got a hit. Like that had one reason for him not to come over and shake my hand. Love you, kid.
Where is he hanging out this weekend? Do we know?
Who knows? He's doing a world tour with his kids.
Yeah.
Playing baseball.
Line shot. There's a line drive out.
Yeah, we catch line drives too.
That was blistered by Kochman.
Well, after a slew of base runners, this is 7 in a row retired now, and they're trying to go up and away with that fastball. Kochman is pretty, short stroke, quick to the ball there. A little tougher to beat up there than the guy with that long loopy swing.
90 pitches for Norris. Joyce will be next. Joyce drew the intentional walk and hit a fly ball to center. Norris had a 0.86 ERA for the previous 3 starts. For his last 13 starts, 2.68 ERA, so this one goes against the grain. 1-1. Going against the grain also, Pittsburgh beating Boston 5-2 in the bottom of the 5th.
What's going on with Pittsburgh?
They beat them last night too.
Yes, they did. It's hard to figure.
Pirates are a game above 500, just 3 off the pace.
They are having a wonderful time at PNC Park tonight. Into center field. 2-out single by Joyce.
This middle of the Rays order getting some pretty good licks here at Bud in the 5th. He got a couple quick outs, but balls were hit pretty hard, and that was a rocket. There's the status of things in the NL Central. Pretty good race there, those top 4 teams.
We back in 1991, 1992 again?
Maybe
Milwaukee wasn't there, but Pittsburgh was.
Yeah.
The boy Doug Drabeck was pitching for them then.
He was dealing. Upton has an RBI single in 2 trips.
For the Bonds, Bonilla, Van Slyke,
Jay Bell, Jeff King.
True.
Spanky, yeah.
Mike LaValliere. Remember that windstorm we had in that game with Pittsburgh?
Got him.
Right. Quick feet.
Picked him off for out number 3, and Joyce is a pickoff victim from 1-3 to end the top of the 5th with no runs to hit, nobody left. Norris gets him 3-1. Tampa Bay. 3-1 ball game. The Rays are leading the Astros with Brett Wallace batting in the home 5th inning. Wade Davis delivers, and it's strike 1 to Wallace, who bounced into a double play in the 2nd. I was asking Mike Barnett about Brett before the game tonight. He's been seeing a lot of curveballs lately. He said they've been working on his stride a little bit. Thought he was cutting himself off a little bit, but they've straightened out that stride a little bit in recent days. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, he's got that double tap thing, so I think he gets going every once in a while a little bit forward too much. We tried a little bit last year. See, watch the double tap, and go. You see his front foot just kind of closed off a little bit right there, but we get him back to, hitting that. He was killing some balls to left field earlier in the year. I mean, hitting them hard.
He really was.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that for a while, though, come to think of it.
Well, I mean, if it was that easy, it'd be fun, but hitting's hard.
Exactly what Mike Barnett said.
Yeah.
Backhand but drop. Brignac with a throw late. Ruled a single.
And Brett had gone through that hitless drought last night. Got a little cheapy low ground ball back to the mound, base hit, and now misplay by Brignac. Well struck though. Ball was hit hard.
Played a good brand of shortstop for the Rays. That time unable to make the clean pickup, and that gives Chris Johnson a base runner at first. CJ lined to first in the 3rd inning.
All right, here we go.
He's hit well in interleague play this year, .333. That one goes out to right center field. Upton over, laying out for it, and Upton made a terrific catch. Really closed on that one. Looked like it might be dropping for a hit until he stretched out.
And therein lies the value we talked about Upton earlier. The low batting average, a lot of strikeouts, but he has power and he can make plays for you out there in the outfield.
It makes it look pretty easy out there. It doesn't even look like this looks like he's just coasting.
Yes, it does. Fernando Abad's warming up in the bullpen. Angel Sanchez comes out to the on-deck circle. And it's Corcoran batting.
Well, that's the 3rd or 4th ball tonight that if I'm on the mound, when it leaves the bat, I'm thinking, man, there's a knock, and they've all been turned into outs.
Right.
And the exception being that last one, Brignac ruled the base hit, but you certainly could have ruled that an error as well. Ball was hit hard, but they probably should have been made.
I have to agree with you on that. 0-2. So Davis is 6-5. His ERA 4.57.
You see Wilfie throw that ball back to the pitcher right there?
That
ball would have went all the way to Upton if he didn't catch that.
Best throwing umpire in the league by far.
Wow. Might be still playing if I had that on.
He probably throws harder than Randy.
One and two.
Watch this. I mean, it's like Pudge Rodriguez throwing back there. Wolfie's got some guns on him, too.
He does.
Why couldn't I have been left-handed?
That went out to right center field. Choice angles in for it. 2 outs. We go to Greg Lucas.
Baseball fans, you know that Chevy is a proud sponsor and is proud to support youth baseball leagues in your local community. And if you'd like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com.
Bud Norris is leaving for the pinch hitter Angel Sanchez. Bud going 5 innings tonight, allowing 6 hits, 3 runs. He had 2 walks, one of those, no, make it 3 walks, one of those intentional, and struck out 4. He threw 95 pitches. Abad warming up as Sanchez bats with a .253 average, 4 for 12 pinch hitting. As Astros pinch hitters have done well with 26 hits and 103 at bats this year.
It's got to be pretty good, huh, Brownie?
Yeah, it is good. It ranks pretty high.
Yeah.
And this is one guy who will normally give you a good at bat off the bench. Contact oriented. Two-hopper this time to Brignac with the toss to Zobrist for the forced play. No runs a hit. A runner stranded through 5. 3-1 Rays. Freeze cab showing you one of the big plays of this game. There it is, a line drive to right field by Damon, and the throw to the plate, and Corcoran tries to block off the base runner, but Brignac is able to get in underneath the tag. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by the Frost Brew at Coors Light.
Carlos just caught a little bit deep there at home plate. Ideally, you like to be out in front of the plate, catch the ball, and then slide in and block home plate, but that was a very difficult play. He was willing to hang in there and take the hit, but the Rays got the run. They've got the lead. Now the Astros go to the bullpen, and it's Fernando Abad.
Verizon Wireless brings you this call to the pen, and Abad is 1-4. His ERA 6.32, but those numbers really don't indicate the fact that he went to Bert Hooton and got fixed, and he's been better since he came back.
I didn't know Bert could do that.
He can do it. Wow. He's a fix-it guy.
You had to go to the vet for that.
No, you just got to ask Bert. Bert will tell you. He'll coach you up.
Well, he changed the arm slot a little bit on Fernando, and been a different guy since he got back from AAA Oklahoma City.
He's got Upton and then a couple of left-handed bats due up.
Upton takes it. There's strike one. Well, the Astros had a decision to make. They have these two left-handers in the bullpen, Abad and Sergio Escalona, and they felt they had to send a pitcher down after the game last night. Fly ball left for Carlos, but maybe not. He's at the base of the wall watching that one reach the seats. Home run Upton. That's 2 in 2 games for Upton, and number 10 of the season. And it's 4-1.
He's going to demand a trade to the Astros.
Yeah.
Last night he just snuck one into the first row of the Crawford boxes, and now this one a little bit more legit. It's kind of a rude greeting for Fernando.
That's the 4th homer he's allowed in 16 innings with the Astros.
Minute made right here. Take it and give it away.
Yes, it does.
Right now, Bert's down there going, hey, don't blame that on me.
Yeah. Way to go, Bert. Oh, big celebration.
Yes. That one comes in for a strike to Jaso, who's 0 for 2, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count now. So what they decided on when they wanted to call up the other catcher was to send out Fernando Rodriguez after the game last night, even though they didn't want to. Jaso is caught looking, 1 out. Well, Brad Mills had to have another able-bodied catcher with the 11 stitches in the chin of J.R. Tolles. So it's Brian Esposito joining the club today, and Fernando Rodriguez had to go to Oklahoma City to make room for Brian.
Yeah, you just can't go short at catcher. You can't afford to have just one able-bodied catcher.
Well, I mean, look what happened last night.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Downs was our next catcher.
Lee Brignac with ball one. One ball, one strike to the Rays shortstop. Tough division. Well, in fact, as JD has been mentioning, this whole homestand, Tampa Bay has the third best winning percentage in the league, then Texas fifth best, and Boston the first. Those are the three interleague opponents on this 9-game homestand for the Astros. And there's the way it looks in the AL East. Boston and New York in a dead heat right now. Tampa Bay 2.5 back.
They keep doing it every year, don't they?
They sure do. How do you think that division's going to shake out, Baggy?
I like Boston. They're starting to pitch too.
Sabathia won today for the Yankees, beating Colorado 8-3. He's 10-4.
What new there too?
Teixeira hit his 22nd.
I don't know if it's possible to be an underrated Yankee. I think to a certain extent Sabathia is.
Really?
I don't know. He just doesn't seem to get, you know,
he doesn't
as
get
much
the
play
pop
as he
he
deserves. You know,
yeah, you're right.
He's a horse.
He really is one of those guys who piles up all the innings.
He's bigger than a horse.
He can opt out of his contract after this year too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
Good advice.
Of course, it worked out for JD Drew.
Yes, it did. Giants beat Cleveland 1-0 as Matt Cain got the shutout win. He's 7-4. Another save for Brian Wilson. 23 for him.
It's all about the beard.
Talk about a guy cashing in. He really has.
Whoa.
Liner over second, out into right center field. And a hit for Brignac.
It's good hitting there.
Here's the Upton home run swing.
The up being the operative word as he lifts that ball. Towering home run.
Too high to be a homer?
Not here.
Not here. Only in Major League.
Now Davis bunting. Abad. Don't being very good advice. 2 outs.
No. Get an out. That's what we're trying to do right there. Just get an out. 2 outs.
It'll be Damon coming up. He's 1 for 3. Well, you went through this. You were passing guys on the various milestones. Baggy, that's got to be something that really strikes you when you go by some of the big names in baseball history, as Damon is doing on the hit list.
You know, it is. I think it's something when you retire, you kind of think about it a little bit more. But when you're playing, it's just such a grind that, okay, that's great. I did this, but I still went 1 for 5 and struck out 3 times. You know, it's such a grind when you're playing. It's kind of something you look at afterwards.
Okay.
At least for me. I mean, I just.
Sure. Yeah, there is that next challenge right out there for you.
I mean, it's just such a hard game, and there's, you know, you can hit 2 homers and drive in 5 in one game and then go 0 for 5 the next game. It's just such a difficult thing to do.
That's a good point. You know, you might have passed somebody big on the hit list, but you still have to face Matt Morris or whoever it is tomorrow night.
Day,
you know,
just
can't enjoy it. No celebration.
I mean, there are your certain milestones. I mean, you 400 home runs and whatever. Craig with his 600,000 doubles, whatever he had, and 3,000 hits. I mean, that's a little bit different. But I don't know if I ever really had any of those milestones to sit back and say, well, I did this.
Well, he just broke a tie with Jimmy Fox tonight. Now he's just a few hits behind Ted Williams. That's pretty special territory.
Yeah, it is amazing, and I've talked to a lot of guys who've achieved great things. in this game, and for the most part, when you ask them about their highlights, they always go back to the day they were first called to the big leagues.
Sure.
And their first hit, or for a pitcher their first win. It's interesting how you focus on that experience more than those big milestone numbers.
Lee makes the catch and left. And the Rays, with the Upton homer, get a run on 2 hits and leave a man in the 6th inning to lead 4-1.
Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Gullo, treating you like family.
Michael Bourne fouls it back. Bottom of the 6th inning underway. There's strike one with a new left fielder in the game for the Rays. Sam Fuld has taken over for Johnny Damon in left. Damon went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Bourne is 1 for 2. A double in the 1st inning.
Human highlight reel out there, Fuld.
He has been.
Oh, God, guys. He might get tested right here.
Davis up for that pitch, and it's a 1-1 strike count.
It's like every night he's doing something spectacular in the outfield.
Somewhere, isn't he?
He has been in some great spots, made some terrific plays. 1 and 2. Bourne puts that one foul.
I don't think he can dive and get that one.
No, he can't. Jake Peavy and the White Sox shut out Washington 3-0 in Chicago, beating Tom Gorzolani.
Jake pitched tonight?
Yep.
Or today?
He's 4-1.
Saw he had a little issue last time he pitched.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't read what happened, Brownie, but maybe you did.
Don't remember exactly what it was last time. He's been dogged by a couple different injuries this year. Sam Fuld. Easy play for him, 1 out. It's been a real struggle for Jake to get healthy again, though.
Yeah. It puts a lot of stress, and Jimmy can speak to this. Not like anybody really cares out there, but he puts a lot of stress on his elbow the way he's delivering.
Yeah, it's a real violent delivery that he's got.
I don't mean that disrespectful, but I am on Astros TV thing.
You know what he had earlier this year was a weird kind of an injury, kind of like in the middle of the back, though.
Yeah.
I think it was where a tendon attached back there somewhere. There's a strike to Keppinger, who's 0 for 2. The Roy Oswalt situation, one that the Phillies are certainly
Very
watching.
concerned about, back injuries.
Well, if the discs are bulging, then that's a major difficulty, and they won't know the results on that for a few more days, apparently.
You remember when we got Randy Johnson, he had some problems with his back, too. He'd already had surgery, and I remember him in the dugout just trying to stretch himself out every inning.
There was a lot to stretch out. 2 balls and strike.
No doubt.
That was just such an electric time, though, wasn't it? Every time he pitched.
Amazing. He scared me, too.
That was one of the best stretch drive deals ever.
Yeah.
Jerry
Exciting time.
Hunsaker, the man who made that deal, is in town.
Is Jerry here?
Yep. Ripped into left field. Kepinger's aboard with a 1-out single. That deal came down about 1 minute before the deadline. It was really
Don't
close.
think I don't know about that.
What do you remember about that?
Oh. Well, we were waiting around. I was at the Clark Bar in Pittsburgh waiting around and got the phone call from Barry Waters.
Okay.
That was some exciting stuff.
That's cool. That's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunter Pence line to left, and he walked and scored. Bounce it to short. Brignac, doesn't play it. On through into center field. Brignac unable to stop that one. And this time it's an error for Brignac.
I don't know that one was any easier or more difficult than the last one. They're both well struck, and the balls that should have been played, and not an easy play, but if he gets it, it's an easy double play because of the pace of this ground ball. A little top spin. And right, it's opening the door here a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if the Astros can kick their way through it. Jim Hickey's on his way to the mound right now.
And a good visit here. And get the pitcher's head right after, once he sees that ball heading towards short, he's probably thinking inning over. Heading to the dugout, got my inning double play. There's work yet to be done.
Jimmy, what did you like when a pitching coach came out? I mean, you just trying to buy some time, or did you want him to say something to you? You're hitting your heel? Is that what they said?
Yeah, boy, and the game has gotten, I guess, a little more sophisticated.
Technical,
and from what I understand, a lot of times guys come out now and deliver a pretty pointed message as to how they think you should get the next hitter out. But when I was pitching, it was almost always they were just trying to give you a mental break or get somebody ready in the pen. So it was always something like, hey, stay back. Mossy, that's like, hey, stay back.
Right.
Go get him, and that kind of stuff.
Lee's 2 for 2.
Carlos used a little leg kick right there. Bigger than normal. Standing a little straighter up than I've seen him.
Big situation right here. He could tie this game with Downs on deck. That was a 94-mile-per-hour pitch, his fastest of the night.
It's amazing when the 3-4 hitters come up how the velocity gets a little higher.
Yeah. Kochman with a play, 2 outs. On the foul ball, now it's Downs. We go to Greg Lucas.
Hey, fans, here's a chance to meet an Astros player and become the ultimate Whataburger What a Fan. Come out next Wednesday from 11 to noon for an autograph session with Astros second baseman Jeff Keppinger and Junction Jack at the Whataburger listed here. While there, you can sign up to be the ultimate Whataburger What a Fan and have a chance to win 2 suites and a whole lot more. Don't miss this chance to meet Jeff Keppinger at Whataburger. And if the big guy, Junction Jack, is signing autographs, I want to see that. I don't know how he can hold a pen.
He's very well coordinated.
Probably got a stamp. Well, Matt Downs has a chance to make Brad Mills look like a genius. So he's not going to get that chance.
No, he's not. Hit by the pitch to load the bases. Davis came with something looked like an off-speed pitch that got away from him.
Brownie, I think.
Okay. Now the bases are loaded for Wallace.
Just tried to overthrow that breaking pitch and lost it. That's certainly a base you don't mind getting, but I would have liked to see Matt swinging that plate appearance.
Wallace has grounded into a double play and reached on an infield hit to short.
Go up right here. The homer on the Crawford boxes.
Ooh.
That was the one.
That was the one. Right in his wheelhouse.
was a courageous pitch right there.
Yeah.
He's thrown only 76 pitches. In tight, and it's 1-1.
Velocity is going up.
He has saved something. He hasn't yet allowed a grand slam in his career.
I'll do.
Chris Johnson on deck. Now 2-1. Wallace has 34 walks this year. Generally has a pretty good eye. He's been a little over anxious last week or 10 days or so.
That's what happens when you struggle a little bit, Brownie. You go out of your zone. Try and do too much. He leads the team in walks, didn't he?
Yes. Oh, there's another one. He fouls it back. 2-2. So he's had a couple pitches to hit.
Yeah, he knows it too.
And Jaso out there to have a chat with his right-hander, probably along those lines. Like, all right, let's be a little more judicious with the location. We've gotten away with a couple here. Staying hard, fastballs throughout. Fans are dying for something big to happen.
Astros as a team are hitting .271 with the bases loaded. Chop slowly to the right side. And there's the toss from Kochman to Davis covering. In the 6th inning, no runs, a hit, an error, 3 men left, 4-1 Rays.
A heart-wrenching story of bravery and some of the things that some of our combat troops go through. And the man that wrote the book is Marcus Luttrell, a Navy SEAL who was involved in the battle described in the book. Talk about the book and why you were moved to write it, Marcus.
It was kind of one of those situations. I was laying around in the hospital hearing all the stories that were coming out from everybody, and none of them were true. So actually the Navy got behind it, and they're the ones that came up with the idea of commissioning the book, so to speak, and getting it out there and what we could tell, you know, in a book. So that's basically how it got started. And went from there.
The story is that there was a firefight in Afghanistan, and you and 3 other SEAL team members were involved in the firefight, and you were the only survivor of that battle. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. My recon team and I went in, lost 3 guys on the mountain, then we lost 16 guys in a helicopter that came to rescue, so 19 total.
So the book, it's called Lone Survivor. It's the story of how Marcus Luttrell survived all that and his journey back home. He has also started a foundation, the Lone Survivor Foundation. Talk about that and how folks can get involved and help with it.
It was basically from my own experiences. It was a place that we're going to build in Texas. It's a big, huge ranch, like a lodge, so to speak. To get the guys who are suffering and laying in that hospital for years on end, we get them out of there along with their families and let them rehabilitate out, you know, kind of out in the country, around the water and stuff like that. So it's a hospital away from a hospital, you know, without the white walls, the beeping and everything like that. And the most significant thing is the families. You know, we can get them out there with them, and that's really when the healing starts. So it actually all spawned from my own personal experiences laying around in the hospital and getting out and coming home to Texas to the ranch. So, yeah.
And so if people want to get involved and help you with that, how can they do that? What's the best way?
Get online, you know, LoneSurvivorFoundation.com, bootcampaign.com. So there's, you know, just pull it up and help out the best way you can.
One last thing. I know you had a chance to throw out the first pitch tonight. What was that like for you?
It was exciting. It's been a while. No, it's a good time. I enjoyed it. I'm glad they asked me to do it. Love it. Yeah, great.
Well, it's great to have you here tonight. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Guys, Marcus Luttrell, a Navy SEAL, and a true American hero. It's always great to have these guys out at the ballpark. We appreciate so much the service and the sacrifice that they and their families make. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Bart. That was a strikeout looking on Zobrist for out number 1, 4-1 Rays. Now Longoria, who doubled in a run in the first, walked and scored in the third. He's 1 for 2 tonight. A special night with the Michelle Branch concert coming up after the game to raise funds for that foundation.
Always good to see Marcus out here.
Do you know him?
Yeah, I've met him a few times. You know, he's been in the Ed's booth and, you know, just kind of hung around a little bit. He's quite a story.
Yes, he is. And he's doing some great things for those guys who are wounded right now to get them out of the hospitals, as he mentioned. Fans who are here will have a chance to contribute to that foundation. They can text during the concert, in fact, to contribute funds to that. 1-2 to Longoria with Kochman due up next.
Trying to go with the high fastball there? Or?
Carlos, you know, a lot of catchers like to come out of the crouch when they call for that high heater. He was completely standing up.
Yeah, it's like Yogi almost, yeah. But about 7 inches taller.
Full count now for Abad.
You should throw not a change of pace, but a change of place. Stand up and then throw one right about knee high.
And he zipped it by him. Longoria strikes out. Number 3 for Abad. Casey Kochman is 1 for 3. Lined hard to Chris Johnson his last time up. Pitcher's spot will come up third for the Astros in the bottom of the inning after Johnson and Corcoran. Angels beat the Dodgers 6-1 today.
Oops.
Out to right center field. Very well struck. That'll bounce and go to the bullpen wall. Kochman heads for second base. And he runs into a little cement there and slows down, and it's a double. Number 13 of the year.
He singled back in the third, lined out to third base last time, hit the ball right on the screws, and now this gapper. And this is kind of the Casey Kochman that first came up with the Angels. This was right. He was advertised line drive hitter, gap to gap power. You know, would hit some home runs, but not a bunch, and a tremendous defensive first baseman. And that's what the Rays have got their hands on right now. Pretty good player. You know, not 30 home run power, but solid contributor.
That's hit number 9 for the Rays. Matt Joyce has one of those, a single in the 5th. He was picked off after that.
Whoa. Pretty good pitch there, Jim.
Yeah, that's got to be a strike. Yeah. Knee high outside corner.
Don't want to throw it there, do you?
Yeah, that's kind of what they tell you, right?
I think low and away.
Yeah.
Corporon back in front of the screen. And he won't quite get a play on it. It's on the other side of the screen, 1 and 2.
That was interesting. He took that the helmet off right there. You don't see that very often with those type of helmets, taking the helmet off. When you see how he pops up, he takes the helmet off. I remember talking to Brad about this. He says, why would I take it off? I'm catching a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Why can't I catch a pop-up with this thing on? To each his own, I guess.
Well, he was great on pop-ups.
He was pretty good at everything he did with
Yes, he was.
With a catcher's glove on. Not much with the stick, but
except just when you thought.
Just when he thought he couldn't hit it over the 404 sign off some guy that was throwing 100 miles an hour.
And you know, that ball he hit in St. Louis in 04 that Edmonds caught.
God, I saw that the other day.
That had to be
that
one
still
of the most,
kills me.
Yeah, disappointing balls Brad ever hit in his life. Great catch by Edmonds.
That would have won it for us.
Yes. Hey, you were talking low and away. How about those Braves pitchers you faced for all those years?
Yeah. That's why I get a lot of flack about not hitting in the playoffs, but I happen to play against 3 Hall of Famers. They got a little bit on the outside corner.
They sure did. Yeah, back in those days, the catchers
about 7 inches.
Yeah. They had about a 25-inch wide home plate.
Yeah, that number 6.
Yeah, that would have been good. Fly ball. Carlos Lee in for it. Makes the running grab. No runs a hit and a runner stranded. 4-1 Rays in the 7th. Hand center, great hands of the game. A shot in the hole at shortstop. Head down, regained his footing. And a good play on Longoria in the 5th inning. 4-1 game. The Rays lead it. The Astros come up here in the 7th against Wade Davis. He's thrown 19 of 24 first pitch strikes. Chris Johnson's 0 for 2. He gets a curve for strike 1. Corporon is on deck. The pitcher spot is due up 3rd. That's Loop. Second baseman with the play, Zobrist. We go to Greg Lucas.
Let's take a look at this date in Astro history, brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. This moment in history is on June 25th, 1995. 19 runs, then a team record in a 19-6 win over the Cubs. 9 in the 8th inning. Brian Hickerson allowing all 9. Baggy, of course. A footnote.
Yeah, 5 runs batted in.
That's more than just a footnote.
Yeah, it is. Foul ball, strike 1 to Corporon. He's 0 for 2.
I saw Hick pretty well. I remember Mark Portugal got carted off the field one time, and they brought Hick in to face me, and he's like, "No."
Who was the pitcher?
Brian Hickerson.
Oh, Brian Hickerson.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Came up with the Giants, right? Lefty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lefty. Jason Michaels comes out to the on-deck circle with a pitcher spot due up next, and the bullpen busy. That's strike 3 call. 3rd strikeout for Davis. And Ariel Del Rosario is working, and now the Astros going to switch and go with J.R. Tolles as the pinch hitter.
Zone has been mostly tight, but Jim Wolf giving Davis a little bit of a benefit of the doubt there on that backdoor slider.
So Tolles comes up to try to get something going with 2 outs here, with a 197 average for 117 at bats, 3 homers, 10 runs batted in. 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. Last night he started the game at catcher, but didn't get to bat. He had to leave the game in the top of the 3rd inning with a foul ball that hit the bottom of his mask and pushed that up, and that bar on the bottom of the mask cut his chin, and he had to have 11 stitches in the chin. Fouling it back, strike 1. Joel Peralta is warming up for the Rays. Rays have a remade bullpen this year. They lost their top 6 relief pitchers from last year, and they have a good pen. Wow. 1-1. That's been kind of crazy. And then they got the extra draft choices. You know, Jim Hickey brought up a really good point about the rule. Even though they capitalized on it, he doesn't agree with it. Chopped to short. Brignac with a high throw, and there's the tag. Kochman saves him a throwing error. And it's a 1-2-3 7th inning with a 4-1 lead for the Rays. It comes from B.J. Upton in the 6th inning. He reaches the Landry's Crawford boxes for the 2nd straight night. 2 homers in 2 games for Upton. That's number 10 of the year.
Just call that the Coors Light cold high blast.
Yeah. A little mortar shot to left field. Now Anario Del Rosario comes in for the 8th inning. Fernando Abad in 2 innings allowed 3 hits, 1 run with no walks. He struck out 3. Del Rosario will be facing Upton. And he's 0-2 with a 4.59 ERA.
It's been a little bit of a bumpy ride for EDR here lately after a real good stretch. For him, it's all about keeping that sinker down around the knees.
Ball 1. Upton's 2 for 3. He's driven in a couple tonight. Crack bat roller. Charged by Downs, fumbles it, and no throw. An error on downs. We go to Bart.
Okay, on that note, let's do the progressive fan of the game. This week it's fans of the game. You guys know Dr. Gene Coleman, been with the Astros 33 years. Baggy, you and JD, well familiar with Dr. Gene Coleman. Right. Found some of his friends out here in the Crawford boxes, and I mean old friends. You guys have been coming to Astros/Colt 45 games for...
However long, 62, however long they've been here, yeah.
And some of those games with Gene in the early days?
The first game we came to was a Dodger Colt 45 game in 62, and Gene was with us when we came over.
Who was pitching that day?
It was Koufax pitching.
Got any good Doc Holman stories you can tell me in 15 seconds?
We can tell you how he got in such good shape when we were kids growing up. You know, Gene's not very tall, neither are we. We had a basketball goal in his backyard that was about 8 foot high, and we used to play basketball back there. It was more like football. And so we got him in good shape then, and he stayed that way.
And the rest is history. Hey, for being such long-time fans and friends of Doc Holman's, you guys are the fans of the game. Split that up amongst you. Brownie, back to you.
Michael Bourne diving, but that ball is in for a hit. And here comes Upton, throw to the plate from Keppinger, and he is gone. Got him. Upton gunned down by Keppinger as Bourne laid out for it, and Jaso's into second base. Ruled a single, and the play went from 8 to 4 to 2.
And really an interesting play as Upton was moving on a hit and run play, and he read that the ball would not be caught. He got rather fortunate there because Michael catches it, he's doubled off. And then a soft slide at home plate. And again, Corcoran there is somewhat vulnerable if Upton decides to hit him. But Upton, I'm not sure what he was thinking. Yeah, he just kind of looked like he didn't want any part of any kind of a home plate collision.
Now it's rolled to the right side by Brignac. Yeah, he was not really digging hard between third and home. 2 outs.
Looking back over his shoulder, I think he assumed there would be no play.
I think so. I think you're right, Jimmy.
Kept the score at 4-1, and now Justin Ruggiano is the pinch hitter for Wade Davis. Davis not only pitched well, but he put down 2 sacrifice bunts.
And that's the other part of the equation. We've been talking a lot about Upton tonight. He does not get high grades in terms of his baseball instincts. You know, bad routes in the outfield, some strange plays somewhat on the bases. We saw him make a great play there in center field. We've seen him hit a home run, so we've seen the good and the bad.
Well, he certainly was not going all out between third and home. Now Del Rosario got a word from Doug Brocail. And Davis has come out for the pinch hitter. 7 innings for Davis tonight. 5 hits, 1 run allowed. 1 walk, 1 hit batter, and 3 strikeouts. And he threw 88 pitches, 59 for strikes. Now Ruggiano, the pinch hitter.
Broke's getting a little bit bigger book. When I first saw him when he first got over there, he just had like 1 sheet. Now he's got a little bit more going on down there. Got to get some TV time.
Having a hard time sleeping. Bouncer, Del Rosario over to first. And it is no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. And a very interesting inning, still 4-1.
But score 6 games for the price of 5 with the Astros Summer Steel 6-game flex plan. You buy 5 games and get the 6th free. Plans are available in multiple seating sections and start at only $35. Buy yours tonight at Astros.com. Now for all that information on the field, here again is Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, and Jeff Bagwell.
Thank you, Greg. Joel Peralta in the game with a 2-3 record, a 3.28 ERA, part of that remade bullpen, and he's done his share with a batting average of 187 against him and 11 holds this year, JD.
Yeah, a veteran who has seen big league time with a number of teams, Angels, Royals, Rockies. Last year was a national. It's fastball, curveball, split finger pitch for Peralta. And the Rays have to just get 6 outs now to claim their second win in this series.
Michael Bourne steps up here in the home 8th inning. He doubled in the first. He's 1 for 3. Bullpen ERA 3.59. That's 6th best for the Rays in the American League. Kyle Farnsworth is their new closer this year. There's ball 1. They lost last year's closer, Rafael Soriano. He was a free agent. He signed with the Yankees. They lost one of their top setup men, who signed with Detroit, Joaquin Benoit. Fly ball to center field. 1 out. Jim Hickey was talking about that Chad Qualls was on the Rays last year, had an ERA of 7-something, and he was a free agent and signed with another club, Arizona, I believe.
Right.
And they got a draft choice, and he was talking about that, and he said, I kind of disagree with that. It was because of accomplishments, I think, in his career. They ranked the players.
Yeah, they got is it like A, B, and C or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But, I think what he was saying was he didn't pitch that well for us, and yet we got a draft choice for him. Now, you don't want to complain if you're in Jim Hickey's shoes, but
no,
it might cause some scrutiny of that rule. Jeff Keppinger's 1 for 3.
Yeah, it's a pretty convoluted formula how they determine those classifications of free agents, whether they're type A, type B, and then that of course affects the compensation you return, you receive in return when they move along. And yeah, it's not just that year. I think it's like a 2 or 3 year period.
I believe it's 2. Yeah. 2 or 3. You're right. But they really have a chance to cash in. We talked earlier about all the draft choices they got this year from losing all those players. And yet they've been able to acquire these arms. And Farnsworth is pitching probably better than he ever has in his career. Peralta's done a nice job, and so have several of the other guys in their pen. It's not anything a club would set out to do, redo its entire bullpen from one year to the next. 2 balls and a strike. But Joe Madden has made it work this year.
Sometimes you have to, though.
Yeah.
Well, what did Soriano get?
He got
it's crazy numbers, wasn't it?
Yeah, crazy. So did Benoit too.
Oh yeah.
Setup guys are getting
big money nowadays, so you just can't keep those guys.
That's right. Not if you're the Rays.
There's not many teams that can.
And I think you got to be real careful, at least from my point of view, real careful about how you allocate your resources. And boy, the bullpen situation seems to be so hard to pin down from one year to the next.
Well, because a lot of guys have one big year.
Yeah.
And they cash in after that.
Yeah. And the sample size just isn't big enough. A relief pitcher, he might give you 50, 60 appearances, but he's only going to pitch 60 innings for you, and you might not get the true measure of a guy in that short period of time. That's where scouting really pays off.
Over shortstop into left center field. Keppinger gets his second hit of the night. We go to Greg Lucas.
Hey, our next batter is a guy that you might want to keep in mind when you're thinking All-Star Game. You can help send Hunter Pence to this year's All-Star Game by voting up to 25 times at Astros.com. Visit Astros.com and cast your ballot now for your 2011 All-Stars. Vote early, vote often, vote tonight at Astros.com.
Thanks, Greg. Hunter's 0 for 2 with a walk, scored a run in the 4th on a double by Lee.
It's like that guy, Mariano Rivera. I mean, we just can't get a good read on how he's going to do for his career.
There's not enough of a body of work there.
No.
Pop back and out of play for strike one. But as difficult as it is to expect consistency from relievers who are pitching 60, 70 times a year, and some are, but once they get up into that big money, that causes a team to really stop and think about it.
Well, of course. I mean, we didn't sign Valverde back because of that reason. It's tough. You got to be a big market team, but to keep a closer around making $15, $14 million a year.
No balls, 2 strikes. In the case of Soriano, he's on the disabled list right now for the Yankees. Benoit not pitching well for Detroit after both got big contracts.
Yeah.
Farnsworth's warming up right now. Grounded foul.
Farnsworth warming here with 1 out in the 8th. Get the sense that Joe Madden would not hesitate to go to him this inning if need be.
Yeah, there'd be no reason for him to be up right now.
That's kind of Joe's MO. He's willing to use a guy for a couple innings.
What was that beard I just saw on Davey
Yeah,
Martinez?
Davey, he's kind of got the Brian Wilson thing going.
He's wow.
Mm-hmm.
Davey went wild boar hunting on the off day here.
Did he?
Yeah.
Didn't know Davey was a hunter like that.
Didn't know that either. 1-2 the count.
He probably didn't know it either. He just started growing the beard and it came naturally to him. Just turned into a woodsman overnight.
Sure looks like an outdoorsman, doesn't he?
Sure does. It's a good pinch hit, though. I promise you that. Maybe not now.
Yes. He was good at that.
Well, the Astros' best chance for a big inning came in the 6th. They left the bases loaded in that inning, and this, you get the sense is they're, this is it. With Farnsworth pitching so well this year, ready for the 9th, if not sooner, in the middle of the order up here. This is go time for the Astros.
The Rays are season high 8 games over 500 right now. Out of the way, still 2-2. Mark Melancet's warming up for Houston. Jay Happ's pitching tomorrow at 1:05 in the finale of this series against Jeff Neiman of Rice University.
Peavy got that win in relief tonight.
Oh,
John Danks got hurt.
Okay, didn't know that.
Threw 4 innings of relief to get the win.
Interesting.
I was going to say, I thought he just pitched a couple nights ago. Must have been his bullpen time.
Must have been.
Well, I know I saw a story where he told Ozzie Guillen that he would be willing to work out of the pen. So maybe there's something related to his injury that they don't feel like they can overextend him. But coming out of the pen for 4 innings is something. Yeah, that doesn't happen every night.
Yeah.
Peavy's always been a team guy, hasn't he,
Oh
Maggie?
God, he's a competitor, boy.
Runner moving, and that's a line drive. Deep left field, full. Off the wall, it kicks back toward the infield. Temperature will come home to make it a 4-2 game. RBI double, Hunter Pence. 52nd run batted in. That's 21 doubles for Hunter.
That might be it.
There we go. We talked earlier about Fold and all the great plays he's made, but not a lot of experience in this ballpark, and he gets too tight to the wall. Can't corral that carom.
Kick back hard.
perhaps had he been back a few strides, he may have been able to hold Keppinger at third base.
Joe Madden is making his move. The one you talked about is becoming reality for Madden with the lead down to 2 runs now, and Farnsworth throwing hard. Back to the scene of the Brad Ausmus home run in the playoffs in 05 in just a moment, with Tampa Bay leading Houston 4-2.
.com/moments and vote now for your favorite Midsummer Classics. And tune into the 2011 MLB All-Star Game on Tuesday, July 12th. That'll be 7 p.m. Central on Fox Television, and find out who won. We're going to find out if Kyle Farnsworth still throws as hard as he did on one date that Baggy might remember. On the 26th of May, 2004, he came in to pitch for the Cubs in relief and threw 9 pitches in 1 inning of 100 miles an hour. The reason I know that is I've jotted them down and I've never forgotten.
He can
in
bring
1
it.
inning.
Well, he's in now to face Carlos Lee, who represents a potential tying run. 15 saves and 16 opportunities, a 2.17 ERA. A couple days off for Farnsworth. Look at the strikeout to walk ratio, 20-2.
This is a guy who early in his career struggled with control, but clearly that has not been an issue this season. That's pretty impressive.
Carlos line drive left field, fold on the track, dropped the ball. He dropped it, and it's not a catch. No catch. Hunter held at second base, thinking the ball was caught, and Carlos is on at first.
Fold pressing his case, and Joe Madden going to come out too.
Ryan Gorman made the call, no catch.
They made a heck of a play to get over and run this thing down. And as he reaches in to pull it out, and that's kind of old school umpiring there, because that was
the old rule where you
had to be able to show that you pull it out and show you have control. But boy, I haven't seen that called in a long time. No. He catches it.
Wow. If that's a second baseman or a shortstop right there, they call that out every single time. But don't you have to come down with the ball? Isn't that the actual rule?
Yeah, I'd have to look up the actual rule. I just know what they used to always talk about is, you have to be able to go in and get the ball. And
let's take advantage of it right here.
It's an error on Fold, his third of the year, and here's Downs. 2 on, 2 out. Strike one call. Farnsworth gave up the playoff homer to Brad Ausmus in the 9th inning with 2 outs in 05. In that 18-inning game, that came in the 9th. And he had given up a grand slam to Berkman earlier. A shot on the ground, and Brignac gets it to second, relay to first for a double play. 1 run scoring on 2 hits with 1 error and a man left. 4-2 Tampa Bay. Play ball by Matt Downs to Reed Brignac. He got to Zobrist, and you'll see it from this angle now.
That ball was hit well. Carlos just hits the deck. Because of the pace of that ground ball, he was not going to be able to get close enough to Zobrist to upend him. So it's either that or peel off or stay upright and take one in the coconut.
Right. That's not recommended.
No.
Sam Fold takes, and there's ball one from Del Rosario. Fold up for the first time. 239 with 3 homers, 23 driven in. Takes a strike, and it's 1-1.
From your part of the world, isn't he back east? He's a New Hampshire, Connecticut guy.
Fold?
Yeah. Because his mom
plays like it.
His mom's a like a state senator or something in New Hampshire.
Lines that one to right center field, and he's running furiously around first. Headed for second. He'll make it there easily. A double for Fold. He was born in Durham, New Hampshire. Went to Stanford.
Stanford.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's across the country.
Looks like a New Hampshire guy the way he's running.
Like an East Coast guy. Yeah, you know those guys like to throw themselves around.
You bet. Plays hard. Throwing his body all over the outfield this year.
He knows. He had that one stretch. I think he was on Play Sports Center almost every single night.
Seemed that way. Now Zobrist, he's 0 for 3 with a walk.
His only job right here is to get him over. Being left-handed, though, you can go pretty much swing away, just get the head out and take a rip at it.
$11 hits for Tampa Bay. It's 2-0. 27,208 is the paid attendance. Pirates are batting in the bottom of the 8th, leading the Red Sox 6-4. While Overbay and Garrett Jones have gone deep for Pittsburgh. Adrian Gonzalez at number 16 for Boston. Josh Reddick number 1. Jacoby Ellsbury number 9. Red Sox are a powerful bunch.
Here's the rule book on that fold play.
Okay.
In establishing the validity of the catch, the fielder shall hold the ball long enough to prove that he has complete control of the ball and that his release of the ball is voluntary and intentional. If the fielder has made the catch and drops the ball while in the act of making a throw following the catch, the ball shall be adjudged to have been caught.
Well, I don't know. He stuck his hand in there to throw it, and it kind of fell out.
If he had to do it all over again, just take another step or so. He seemed like he was in a hurry to get that ball back in a situation where he really didn't need to be in a big hurry. Probably wanted to make sure Hunter didn't get to third base on a tag play, but
Del Rosario walks Zobrist. Now 2 men on for Longoria with nobody out.
Probably not bunting here.
Sergio Escalona warming up for Houston. Longoria with the RBI double first time up, 1 for 3 with a walk.
5-4-3 right here.
Ooh,
Why not?
triple play. Strike Longoria. Smacked on a line, left field corner. That's in for a hit. That'll score full. Throw goes into second base and safe there. 5-2. Longoria gets his second RBI double of the game.
Talked about EDR when he came to the game about, the whole key for him is sinker down. This is slider up, and the sinker much better pitch for him than is the slider. He tends to make more mistakes with the breaking ball than he does his fastball.
Brad Mills has the lefty. Sergio Escalona warming up, and he's out to the mound now with Kochman, the lefty hitter, coming up. That'll be it with the score 5-2 for Del Rosario. Back in a moment. Trouble here in the ninth inning. Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, Jeff Bagwell on a Saturday night.
Jim DeShays is just throwing stuff at people right now.
That's what he does. Sometimes we get to the ninth inning.
Stuff?
Yeah, he just fires things out of the
bonus Cracker Jacks.
That's what he does.
Just trying to make the people happy.
They're very happy
home
down
team
there.
just gave up a run.
Yeah, but can you at least tell them it's coming before you hit them in the back of the head?
That's fun. One guy thinks you did it, and he looks a little angry.
Yeah. Well, he can't get up here. I can get down the back staircase.
We'll keep you covered.
Infield in for Kochman. And he swings for strike one. Kochman has 2 hits tonight. And a line out to third. Escalona trying to neutralize him. Escalona gave up a homer to Josh Hamilton on Tuesday, which tied the game 4-4 in the 8th inning. Trying to stop the bleeding here at 5-2. And he gets strike 2.
Real comfortable on that breaking ball.
No, this is, if ever there were a time where you're thinking punch out. I mean, this is a situation where typically once you get to 2 strikes, you're definitely. But this whole at bat, if you're a Sergio, you got second and third down, 3 runs. You need to keep this ball out of play.
Not biting there, and it's 1-2. Escalona, prior to that Tuesday home run by Hamilton, had 13 straight scoreless appearances.
Been pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
He's pitched 22 times,
too,
and
right.
19 times it's been scoreless.
Line into left center field. That's going to make it 7-2. Kochman with a 2-run single. 3rd hit of the night. 20 runs batted in for Kochman.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier, that you're trying to keep the ball out of play. That to me, you've got a base open. You could stay out of the zone that whole at bat. Try to get him to chase. And maybe that's what he was trying to do and just made a mistake. He left that breaking ball up in the zone. Didn't really need to throw a strike there.
Matt Joyce is 1 for 3 with a walk. And strike one to him. Del Rosario on 1 inning plus allowed 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts.
If this were Monday Night Football, Dandy Don would be singing right about now. Some people know what I'm talking about. Others like, what is he talking about?
That's true. There's a whole generation that hasn't heard "Turn Out the Lights."
Yeah, Don Meredith used to sing "Turn Out the Lights, the party's over" on Monday Night Football when the game was out of hand.
Howard Cosell loved it too.
Out of hand or out of time, I guess.
Astros with Wallace, Johnson, Corporon due up in the bottom of the 9th.
Don Meredith was a very good quarterback back in the day. I guess we should explain who he was, too.
Okay.
Probably a lot of people, who's Don Meredith?
He was. 2-2.
Dandy Don.
Yeah, before Roger Staubach. Dandy Don, big personality. Got some movie roles.
Yep.
He played for some very bad Cowboy teams, too, and he was able to hang in there. Joyce strikes out. He played in the Frozen Tundra game, right, JD?
Oh, yeah, the 68.
Yeah, at Green Bay.
Yeah. The Ice Bowl, is that what they call it?
The Ice Bowl, yes.
Well, I've been to Green Bay. It's a frozen tundra.
Were you there for in the real good Sub-Zero kind of stuff?
Oh yeah.
That's the only time to go, isn't it? You got to experience it.
It was all that.
It's nice in August.
Did you wear your cheese hat?
No, but I was laughing because everybody's dressed up in camouflage or bright yellow or anything like that.
We're going to shoot something, then we're going to go to the football game.
Exactly.
Gonna have some beer and some brats and some cheese.
This one gets away from Corporon. Kochman to second base. Wild pitch.
And then if there's still daylight, we'll go do a little ice fishing.
Man, it was cold. We went on the field. I mean, it was like walking on the top of that dugout right there. Never mind getting tackled.
Pummeled into it.
Yeah. It was fun, though. Anybody ever gets a chance to do it, they need to.
3-0 to Upton. 1 out in the inning. And the intentional walk puts Upton on, bringing up Jaso.
Brad Mills comes to the ballpark every day with a kind of a smile on his face and a fresh perspective. But this has got to be eating at him, boy. It's tough. All the losing that the Astros are enduring.
Now Brocale out to the mound. Well, yeah, because you're fighting a mindset that you don't want to set in on any club. And trying to keep everybody positive and enthusiastic for the game to come. See what else is going on around baseball. Davey Johnson will take over on Monday. He hasn't managed for years, but he's going to be the Nationals' new skipper. How about the move of Jose Bautista to third base? That's intriguing.
Well, that's where he played when he was with Pittsburgh.
That's true. Chris Carpenter finally in the win column for the first time in a while. Oswald back to the DL. Chu's going to have thumb surgery and miss 6 weeks.
Oh, Carpenter only having first win since May 10th. Wow.
That's hard to understand.
No. It's really not like he's been a tough luck loser either, right? He's got a big ERA.
He does have a big ERA, yeah.
For him.
That's true. It's not pitched all that well. Jaso's the batter with runners at first and second and 1 out. He's 1 for 4. Interesting article in Sports Illustrated about Bautista that I wanted to ask you about, Baggy.
Please.
It went back about 3 years to when he turned it around, and he's been such a prolific home run hitter since then. But he was told by his hitting coaches in Pittsburgh and other places you're late. You're always late swinging.
Right.
You need to get started sooner.
Right.
And he was told that in Toronto. But then Vernon Wells said, just start swinging way before you think you should. Just go ahead. He said, you know, he wasn't in the lineup that often, but he was in the lineup that night, and they were talking. He said, start ridiculously early. Just way before. He said, so you get a little embarrassed. What do you have to lose? Liner to Downs. And that's when apparently it started working for him.
Well, you know, I started with that big leg kick that he didn't have when he was in Pittsburgh. But, I mean, guys, we're not talking about just like, I mean, he had 50-something homers last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's craziness.
Yeah. He's on a pace to do it again.
Sure is. I mean, that's just not turning your career around. That's unbelievable to me.
Really is.
It's not easy to hit 50 homers, I promise you that.
Brignac is 2 for 4.
Whoa.
Corcoran scrambles for it. 8th man to bat in the inning.
Got crossed up. Or crossed himself up, one or the other, but he was looking for a breaking ball here. Catcher's looking fastball. He can usually handle the breaking ball, but when they're looking for a breaking pitch and the heater comes, it's a little tougher.
Yeah, it's a little tougher.
But the first time up in that game for Toronto that night after the Vernon Wells advice, he hit a line drive off the left field wall. And it just reinforced what everybody had been telling him, that he had been late.
I should have told that to the hitters last year when I had them. Just be ridiculously early.
1-1. Kind of interesting, though, that you'll hear the same advice from different people, but it doesn't always sink in. Depends on the person sometimes.
There's no doubt about that. And I would say what I've seen in the minor leagues for sure, the hitters are late a lot. They just don't get started because you know what they do is they start thinking so much about mechanics that they forget to get it actually going.
Mm-hmm.
But basically what Vernon was telling them is who cares?
Yep.
Just get it up and get it going and see what happens.
That's right.
And it worked out for him.
Think long, think wrong.
Yeah. Like Yogi said, keep it simple, stupid. Hitting is so mental. God.
Yogi ever give you any hitting advice?
Yeah, he told me the ball was juiced. I said, yeah, you hit 350-something homers and you're 4'9".
He was a beauty.
Still is. What's that?
Yeah, he really was off balance on that and popped it up to second, way out in front. And Kempinger's there. But it's a nice ninth inning for Joe Madden's club, and the Rays lead at 7-2.
Baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Out there near the Bagwell and Biggio statues.
7-2 Tampa Bay, bottom of the ninth inning coming for Kyle Farnsworth, who came in when it was 4-2 and a runner on second base with one out. Then there was an error on Fold, and he got a double play ball off the bat of Matt Downs. So it is a safe situation for Farnsworth. Here, let's look at the swing of Jose Bautista. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah. The thing is, though, he's not just he's hitting for average too.
Yeah, that's the thing. Normally you see a hitter load up with that big leg. Yeah. You think, well, he's probably vulnerable to soft stuff. He's looking to hit fastballs and take a big swing. But when we saw him, his approach is good. He has all that going on, but he keeps the hands back and very tough out. Not just a dangerous hitter, but just a tough out.
Fred Wallace fouls it. He's 1 for 3. Farnsworth, an interesting story too, because he struggled so much in his career, but now here in the late stages of his career, he's become closer and he's done extremely well.
Well, Fonzie, his only problem was he got in trouble with he liked to throw his breaking ball so much. And that's what would get hit. When you're throwing 100 miles an hour, I'm just bringing the pain. Mm-hmm. But he wanted to throw a slider a lot, and that sometimes got him in trouble because he'd get around his slider. Mm-hmm. He's got a good split now. I think it's a split.
Yeah. And they say he's throwing the cutter this year.
Well, why not? Let's make it a little harder on the hitter.
Yeah. Over to first base, Kochman. One out for Farnsworth. Farnsworth is 35 years old.
Tons of talent. Boy, what an arm he's got.
Yes.
Yeah, came up with the Cubs late 90s, and originally a starting pitcher. Didn't stay in that role very long. One season, maybe a little bit of the next. Pretty much exclusively bullpen work since then. And he's been blessed. Boy, he's a big, strong guy.
Oh, God, yeah.
Taekwondo or whatever, some kind of martial art.
Yeah, you don't want to charge him out on him too much.
No, Paul Wilson learned that lesson.
Yes, he did.
Oh, that's right.
That's CJ with a fly ball out to center. Yeah, he loops it in for a hit in front of Upton.
Well, you know what he used to do also is he would drop his arm angle on his fastball, and he would come more over top on his breaking ball. So kind of gave you a feel of what he was throwing, even though it was 100.
Now Jason Bourgeois is going to pinch hit for Carlos Corporon.
Well, he was kind of the poster boy for that type of guy. That guy said, how does this guy get hit? I mean, well, because you see the ball well, he shows it to you, whatever. And it was one of the great lingering mysteries there for a few years. How does this guy give it up?
.354 for Bourgeois with 9 runs batted in. And there's strike one.
It's an easy 96 right there.
Bourgeois is 3 for 10 pinch hitting. Getting a lot of playing time lately.
This is an interesting situation here because, and I'm not sure what kind of shape the Rays bullpen is in coming into this series, but if you're managing and now you've got this 5-run lead, there would be a temptation to get your closer out of there to keep him fresh for tomorrow. But woe to the manager who pulls a closer in a save situation. The guy's got a chance to pick up a save. And so regardless of what the situation says, sometimes you got to take care of the player. And
good point.
Joe Madden is hoping this 9th inning passes quickly so his big guy's available tomorrow.
And I'm CJ. I'm running right here.
Yep.
I mean, I was trying to stay out of the double play. Farnsey's probably about 1.6, 1.7 to home plate. He comes set, you pretty much start running. He's not coming over.
Line shot to right. Bourgeois with a pinch single. Now a pair of hits with 1 out in the inning, and the Astros want to try to build on that. They go with Jason Michaels as the pinch hitter for the pitcher. J. Mike, a 208 hitter, has 1 homer, 5 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, he is 2 for 18. And he had playing time in all 3 games in Arlington. The Rays signed Farnsworth for 1 year for $3.25 million with a team option for next year. He walked 1 in his first 17 appearances this year. Grounded foul. Brad Ausmus hit that homer here off Farnsworth in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs.
Yeah.
That was one of the top moments in club history.
Lance Berkman always talks about something. He always says whenever he's struggling, he steps out and says there's always room for a miracle. That was it.
Foul ball by Michaels.
Lance who hit the grand slam the inning before.
Yeah, he's still mad about that because nobody really remembers that. Yeah.
Hit a grand slam in a playoff game and it's
Nobody
relegated to the
yeah.
bronze medal, you know, with
Yeah.
Burke and Ausmus
Burke and Ausmus.
hitting gold and silver.
Catch right there.
Line foul. Still 0-2 to J. Mike.
Was Lance's off Farnsworth as well?
Yes.
I believe it was. Crawford boxes, wasn't it? Line drive in
Yes, you're right. That was it was 6-1 in the 8th inning, Atlanta, and Farnsworth came in with a couple men on base, and Berkman took him out with that slam.
there? Then we decided to play about 8 more innings.
What a game! Game for the ages.
But 8? Yeah. No. 9.
Rocket came out of the bullpen like John Wayne.
Yes.
Rocket was throwing BP to his son in the cage below.
Two balls and 2 strikes. I was asking Kobe about that in spring training, and he said, "Oh yeah, you know, my dad was working up a really good sweat, but
Yep.
we didn't want to tell Phil Garner about that later on when he volunteered to pitch." And then Andy Pettit had been sick that day, and he came back to the ballpark and said he was ready to go. It was a big issue too, because if the Braves win that game, you're going to Atlanta to play
Game 5. Right? Game 5?
Yes. And who knows how that might have gone, but will be 2 exhausted ball clubs going at each other. J. Mike looks at a ball. 2-2. Farnsworth had a rough outing here last year when he was with Kansas City. He catches that one and throws to first. Michaels lining into his glove for a game-ending double play.
They catch line drives.
That's what they do.
Yep.
That's why they make T-shirts out of it.
Amazing. No runs, 2 hits, and a man left. And the Rays have won the first 2 of this series. Final score 7-2 Atlanta tonight. Tampa Bay.